All right, y'all. Welcome. Today we are talking about 5 ways to start and scale up your business. So, this is going to be a really great conversation on how you can get those ideas in your head to reality, right? How you can bring all those dreams that you've been thinking about, how you can actually make them a reality as it relates to your financial freedom, to building legacy, to being the leader and CEO of your time management, right? Making the rules, answering to yourself, all the things, breaking generational curses, etc. I'm going to teach you how you can start that business and how you can scale it up. And I have 5 tips for you guys. All right. So let's get into tip number 1. So, tip number 1 is all about verifying your idea. And what does this really mean? Essentially, what this means is that you need to be able to solve a problem, right? People pay for 2 things, they pay for convenience and they pay to get their problem solved. Okay. So, you need to make sure that you are providing one of those 2 things. And, or if you really want to separate yourself from the pack, you want to make sure that you're doing both, right? You're creating convenience and you're also solving a problem. So the first step is verifying that idea that you have in your head. So, how do you actually go about that verification process? The way that this happens is you need to do your research. You need to go over to Google and you need to figure out what people want. What are they struggling with? What are major problems where there's a gap that you know your skill set can solve for? And that is how you're going to think about what type of business you need to bring to the market and what is actually going to drive revenue into your business. All right. Providing a convenience or solving a problem, doing the research, right? Figuring out what people are saying online. What are they struggling with? What are their gaps, right? And this can be so simple with a search engine where you can literally you can really type in, you know, top 5 problems that people are looking to solve. And you will see a whole bunch of things come up, and you can use that as a directive to help you get started, right? To help you kind of bring yourself into a direction where you're able to get more clarity around this idea that you have in your head. So you're able to verify that it's actually a viable idea that you can make money from. Okay. So that's step 1. So let's get into, actually, you know what? I have one more thing to say on this. For verifying your business idea, when you're thinking about providing convenience and solving for a problem, do know that the more of a headache the problem causes, the more people are willing to pay for you to solve it. Okay. So think about problems that you have that exist in your life right now. Maybe it's, let's see, maybe you hate driving your car to go get gas and you wish there was a service that could bring the gas to you. Am I giving away a business idea right now? But think about that, right? Think about that convenience and think about what that would solve for, right? So pay attention to what is going on in your life right now that is a major pain in the butt. And can you create a solution for it? Because I can guarantee you're not the only person that has that problem or would be really appreciative of that solution. So that's how you want to think about things, and it's a good place to start. And again, the bigger the problems you're able to solve and the less people there are in the world that are able to solve for that particular problem, the more money and the more of an asset the more money you will make and the more of an asset you will become. All right. So let's get into number 2. And I'm looking at my notes here. Let me take a quick sip of water. By the way, guys, at the end of this, I'm going to ask questions. So if I'm going to answer questions. So if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the question box. If you're tuning in on Instagram, make sure to put them in the comments. If you're tuning in on YouTube, on LinkedIn, or through Facebook, because I am live streaming through all the platforms today and we are testing this out. Okay, guys? All right. So number 2 is visualize your dream life. So 70% of entrepreneurs who are able to visualize their dream life achieve their goals faster. All right, 70%. So you can't be what you don't see, right? You have to actually envision what is the life that you want for yourself. Envision what is the business that you want for yourself. Envision and write down how much money do you want to make? What does your life need to look like? What problem are you solving for people? What are your customers saying about you, right? What difference are you making in the world? What impact are you having, right? What house do you live in? What car do you drive? What kind of dog do you have? What kind of partner do you have, right? What are your kids doing after they graduate from school? Literally breaking it down to a T and truly visualizing your life and your business. 70% of entrepreneurs who do this are able to bring those visualizations to life, and they're able to meet their goals faster. So all that vision boarding and manifesting, regardless of where you stand on that, the data tells us that the more you are able to visualize and see yourself in the future, the more you are able to get super detailed about the type of life you want to live and the type of business you want to have, the more probability there is for you to actually make that your reality. All right. So, step number 3, what makes you different? Now, this step you're going to have to take some time with. You're going to have to really sit down and think about why you over someone else. Why did someone give you their money over someone else? And consumers are getting smarter by the day, and they have more options than ever before. And so you have to be very clear and be able to articulate your differentiation factor, right? Why someone should work with you over someone else. Why should someone buy your product or service over someone else? And getting very clear on those key attributes as to why, right? And it might be your energy, it might be your actual process, it might be the results that you're able to get for clients, it might be your framework, it might be the ongoing type of partnerships that people will have as a result of working with you. Maybe it's your robust network. So people want to work with you because they want access and proximity to people in your network. Really sit down and think about why you, and write it down on a piece of paper. And if you're stuck with thinking about why you, my Mac is about to die. Let me tie this up. Let me plug this in. If you're thinking about why you and you're struggling with that, ask people in your circle, ask people in your life that know you well, that have seen you work, maybe colleagues, maybe old bosses, right? Ask them, what makes you special, right? Why are you an asset, right? What do you bring to the table, right? And then you want to think about your business model. What's different about your business model than all the competition out there? What makes you stick out? Okay? What makes you stick out is what you want to make sure that you are able to clearly identify on a drop of a dime. You should have at least 5 things that make you different from the competition. And it should be so fluid that if anyone asks you why you are able to articulate in 10 seconds or less. And the only way for you to get really good at that is you have to take the time out and really think about it. And then you have to practice it, right? You have to talk about it. You have to say it out loud. Okay. So use that as your homework assignment, right? All of these tips. But this one in particular, 5 things that make you different, that make your product or service different. And repeat it out loud to yourself over and over and over again so that you are able to easily articulate that value to a potential client. All right. And also articulate that value to the overall marketplace. Okay. All right. Let's get into number 4. And this is where it gets spicy because a lot of folks struggle with this, especially women. So I talk to women on a constant basis, women who want to start their businesses, who want to scale up. And this one thing they struggle with the most outside of mindset, but it's tied to mindset very much. And it is this one thing that if you are unable to master this skill, or if you allow your insecurities around this skill, it will definitely decrease the amount of money in your bank account and the amount of leverage that you will have in your business. Can anyone guess what that skill is? Write it in the comments what you believe that skill is. This is the one skill that folks struggle with the most, and especially women in business. What is that one skill? Write it in the comments. I want to see if you guys are with me here. Write it in the comments. Okay. So the one skill that folks struggle with the most, including women, is, drum roll please, selling. Selling. Selling is that number one skill that women struggle with the most when it comes to their businesses. Okay. So understanding that this is the one skill that folks struggle with the most, it is critical that you get comfortable with selling. It is the one skill that will ensure you will never go broke in your life. Never. And if you think about it, you're always selling already in your life. You're selling at home when you're trying to convince your kid to clean the dishes after dinner, right? You're selling at the office, right? If you're still working, you're selling at the office as to why a project should go to X instead of B, right? You're selling at a restaurant when you're choosing what to eat or order for the table, right? You're selling with friends when you're choosing what destination you're going to go to for a vacation, right? You are already constantly selling in your life. So much so that if you were unable to sell, you would have never been able to get a job. You would have been never been able to get a partner, right? You would have never been able to make friends because you are constantly selling in everything that you do. And so if you've ever come across an experience where, let's say you go to a car dealership and you feel like you were taken advantage of. And so just the idea of selling turns you off because you just think about, some dude in a suit who's trying to sell you on some nonsense, right? Who's trying to take advantage of you, who's trying to take your money, right? And so now you have this impression in your head that sales is bad, right? You've created this idea that anything related to sales is bad. It's not good. It's a complete turnoff. And then you carry that same belief into your professional life and into your business, and it impacts your sales and you're unable to make money. Because if you cannot sell, if you are not constantly selling, constantly driving your value, communicating your value, constantly giving an offer, right? Constantly making an offer, right? Where people can pull the money out of their bank account, out of their purse, and give it to you. If you are not constantly doing that, there will be no way for you to run a sustainable business, right? There'll be no way for you to actually bring in any type of additional income into your life if you choose not to sell. And so it is critical that you get comfortable with selling. Now, how do you do that, Victoria Jen? How do you get comfortable with selling? Well, first step is understanding that you're already selling all the time. You're already selling all the time in your personal life. I want you to really pay attention. Really pay attention when you go home or when you're interacting with your partner, you're interacting with your kids, you're interacting with your family, with your friends. I want you to pay attention when it comes down to making decisions and how you are showing up in sales, right? How you are showing up. You're trying to get Boo to throw out the garbage, right? You're selling the reason why they need to throw out, why they need to go throw out the garbage, right? When you want somebody to do something for you, How are you convincing them to do this for you, right? How are you persuading people to do things for you, right? So selling and persuasion are besties. They are besties. And they are two of the most critical parts of any business. You need to be able to sell, and you need to be able to persuade people to do what you want to do what you want them to do, right? You need to be able to do that. And you are already doing that so much already in your life. So the way that you get comfortable with selling is first understanding you're already doing this in your life. And number two is for you to actually commit to the action of selling, right? You have to commit to it. So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to persuade someone to do something that you want to do and see what comes about. Now, with any skill, in order for you to master that skill, you need to practice, right? You need to practice, right? If you're a runner, you don't become a good runner just by running one time, right? You become a good runner by running a baby marathon, then a bigger marathon, then the full-blown marathon, right? Where it's like 1,000,001 miles. I don't even know how these people do that. They are superpowered. They are superhuman in my mind. But really, the secret is they practice, they train, right? They train, they show up, right? They put in the work in order to get better, right? They put in the work in order to get better. So it's the same thing with sales and persuasion. You got to put in the work and you got to practice to get better. All right. Now, some of this will also have to, rely on your mindset and shifting your mindset, which brings me to the next tip number 4, right? Tip number 4 is all about being okay with failing in public. Being okay with failing in public. Now, why is this important? So many people are so concerned with not succeeding. So many people are so concerned with other people's opinions that they will procrastinate on following their dreams because they're too concerned with what other people have to say. And people are so concerned with failing and so afraid of failing that they won't even start. They won't even start because they're afraid of failing, and they don't want people to know that they failed at something, right? Everyone wants to win. It feels good to win, right? Everyone wants to win. It feels good to win. And so they want to show out to the world that they're constantly winning. It's like why on social media you see everyone's wins. That's all you see, accolades, right? It's rare that you see someone actually share a failure or share something super vulnerable, right? Or share an area of opportunity for them, right? Everybody wants to always be on the highlight reel. Nobody wants to fail. And so they just forego starting anything because nobody wants to be the first. Nobody wants to try something new. Nobody wants to start from the beginning. Everybody wants to get their fix quick, ASAP, like yesterday, right? Nobody wants to be a beginner because a beginner means you don't know what you're doing. A beginner means that you're unable to actually solve people's problems. A beginner means you don't have enough experience. A beginner means that you don't know what you're talking about. A beginner means that you're not enough or you're not worthy. You're not deserving. And so you just don't start. And so it's critical for you to understand that if you are not failing at something, you are not trying at something. Okay? If you are not failing at something, you are not trying at something, which means that you are just operating in this comfort zone where everything just is the same. The machine is oiled, everything is working in tangent, nothing is going off tangent, everything is just so seamless, right? Everything is just so seamless because nobody's taking a risk. Nobody's coloring outside the lines. Nobody's testing the waters. Nobody's, doing any trial and error, right? Nobody's trying to see if there's a better way to do something because the current way is working, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But if you are not failing at something, then you are not pushing yourself to become the best version of yourself. You're actually limiting your potential. You're capping your potential if you are not failing at something. Every successful person, every successful business owner has lost money, has been made to look like a fool, has lost friends, has made mistakes, have hired the wrong people, have gotten taken advantage of, have, made a horrible speech, right? Has made bad investments, has pivoted, has had to start over again. That is the beauty of life. You're able to reinvent yourself. You're able to pivot, but there's no way for you to pivot or reinvent yourself if you're actually not doing anything new and you're not willing to fail, right? You're not willing to fail by trying and doing something new because you're too worried about everyone else's opinion. You're too worried about what people will think of you. And so you're like, you know what? Forget it. I'm too scared. I'm too scared. And you allow fear to drive your procrastination. And then a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're like, damn, I should have did this a long time ago. Or you have the regret and then you start thinking it's too late. And then there's a whole new set of objections and insecurities that prevent you from tapping in to the best version of you and really bringing your dreams to life. Okay. So it's important for you to be okay with failing. All right. That's number 4. So let's get into number 5. The final tip, number 5. And you know what? I think I'm going to have a bonus tip for you as well. And by the way, for those of you who have questions, if you're tuning in from Instagram, write your questions in the question box. If you're tuning in from LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, write your question in the comments and I will answer them. Okay. So let's get into number 5. So number 5 is about pulling best practices from people you like. I just got off a coaching call with the Dare to Leap Academy students, the students inside my online learning platform. And we were talking about people that we admire in our different niches, right? In our different business ventures that we pay attention to and pull best practices from. There's no need for you to reinvent the wheel here. Okay? There's no need for you to try and think of everything on your own. There are so many business cases out there that you can utilize and pull best practices from that will help you start and scale up your business, right? So there are resources available to you instead of you trying to start from scratch. What does that mean? How do I do that? I'm going to give you a really great example. So when I was first thinking about putting together the Dare to Leap Academy, I needed to learn from someone who already had an academy of their own, right? So I can kind of like pull some of their best practices. And so there were a couple of people in the industry that attracted me. And I was like, ooh, let me pay attention to what they're doing, such as Daniel Leslie or Marcus Rocher, right? Who was my coach. I actually hired him to coach me. And I would join their communities. I would join their email list. I would show up to their webinars. I would take their master classes. I would invest in their programs because I wanted to learn. I needed to be a student, right? And as you start your entrepreneurship journey and continue to grow in that journey, you will understand that the students win. You are a constant student regardless of what level you reach. Warren Buffett, who has a very successful business, what does he do every morning? He studies the markets. He studies what happened while he was sleeping. He does his research. He is a constant student, right? So you need to be a constant student and pull best practices from people who are doing what you want to do. We're not copying. I want to make that very clear. We are not copying what other people do and making it our own, especially if we're not crediting someone. All right. If we're not crediting the source, we don't want to do that. We are not copying. We are pulling best practices and then we are making them our own. Okay. That is the best practice exercise. That is how that works. Okay. We're pulling best practices and we are making them our own. All right. And so that is what I want you to start doing. If there are people you admire in a particular space, people who you watch on social media and you're like, oh, I want to be like them, or oh, I like that marketing campaign, or oh, I like their website, then do the research, right? Follow what they are doing, become a part of their community so that you are able to pull those best practices and make them your own instead of trying to start from scratch. Okay. Everybody write copy in the comments if you are picking up what I am putting down. All right. I love it. I love it. Okay. All right. I'm seeing the copies coming over. So let me go over these 5 tips again. Let me summarize them real quick for those who are just tapping in and also for folks to just get the reminder. All right. So step 1, right? We're talking about 5 ways to start and scale a business. So step 1 is you need to verify your idea, right? What problem are you solving, right? What convenience are you providing, right? People pay top dollar for the person who is able to solve their problems the easiest and are able to provide them convenience, right? And so that is what you should be thinking about when you are pulling together what type of business model you're going to have, what type of business you're going to launch. You need to ask yourself, what am I solving for people? Right? What am I solving? What is the problem I am solving for? Am I making their lives easier? Am I providing convenience? Right? Okay. And the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. All right. So you are in the business of solving problems. All right. So identify what that problem is so that you're able to verify your idea. All right. Step 2 is visualize your dream life. 70% of entrepreneurs who visualize their dream lives are able to bring their goals to life faster, right? Visualize, where do you want to be in the next 5 years? Where do you want to live, right? What type of money do you want to be making? What type of life insurance plan do you want? Do you want to trust? Do you want to have an investment portfolio? What's in that investment portfolio? Try to get as detailed as possible in that visualization exercise, because the more clear you are, the more clarity you have, the easier it is for you to remain committed and focused because you have clarity. Okay. Step 3 is what makes you different. Why you? You should have 5 things that you should be able to list very easily and speak on very easily as to why somebody should give you their money over somebody else. Why should they give you your money over somebody else? And it doesn't always have to be directly aligned to just a result. For example, it doesn't always have to be the tangible result. It can also be your energy, which leads to the tangible result. I have a girlfriend of mine, Kara. She always says this. She's like, listen, my content is free, but my energy is not, right? Because energy mobilizes. Energy makes shifts, right? Energy is a style, right? It's an aura. It's an essence. It's what helps you stand out, right? Especially if you're a trainer, a facilitator, a speaker, right? It's that energy. What makes people gravitate to you? That is a key differentiator factor. So figure out, what are the 5 things? Of course, you need to make sure part of those 5 things, at least 2 are directly aligned to results. I mean, all of it over encompassing is all aligned to results, getting results, right? But you want to make sure that there is an easy way to measure it, right? There's a KPI there, right? Like, what's the percentage of results people are getting by working with you, right? Like, what are the percentage? What is it that they're actually doing, right? Those are the type of things that you want to keep in mind as to what makes you different. If you think about some of these companies that, I was just at the pharmacy earlier today, and I was walking through, this might be TMI, but it's a real life example, and I want to make this really real for you guys. I was walking through the aisle for tampons and pads. If you ever walk through that aisle, there are tons of options, like tons of options for women. And I was reading some of the marketing, because this is how I pick up and I pay attention to how companies are able to differentiate yourselves, especially in saturated markets, right? Like a bread aisle, for example, high saturation. When you're at the supermarket, the bread aisle is insane. But anyway, I'm at the pharmacy, and I'm walking through this aisle, and I was reading the boxes, right? And one company was talking about how they use organic cotton, right? Organic cotton, the applicator that they use is recyclable, and how a percentage of their sales goes back to, developing countries where girls cannot afford their own sanitary products, right? That's a differentiator, right? That's a way that company is standing out from other companies in the marketplace, right? Because they have a set of values. They stand for something. They're contributing part of their revenue to these organizations, right, that are supporting these young girls. So I want you to think about it, right? Be creative, be innovative, be value oriented when you're thinking about what makes you different and the impact that you want to have in the world. Okay. So number 4 is all about, did I skip one? Hold on. Number 2 is visualization. Number 3 is what makes you different. Number 4 was being okay with failing. Being okay with failing. Oh, this was it. One of the things with number 3 was also, in addition to what makes you different, is being able to sell, right? Being able to sell and getting comfortable with money, getting comfortable with the sales process, getting comfortable with always having an offer on the table, giving people something they can buy, right? And getting really good at persuasion, getting people to do what you want them to do. All right. Number 4, be okay with failing. Don't be afraid of being a beginner, and starting from scratch. Right now, I am working on a project that is completely new for me. I don't know the space. I've never done it before. Completely new. And I have to be okay with failing. I have to be okay with making mistakes. I have to be okay with understanding that I'm not going to know everything, and everything is not going to be perfect, because I'm a beginner, and beginners are not perfect, right? Not even experts are perfect, right? So be okay with failing. And then number 5 is making sure you're pulling best practices and case studies from people who are doing what you want to do, right? There's no need for you to reinvent the wheel. See what different companies are doing, what different people are doing, and pull a best practice and make it your own. We're not copying. We're pulling a best practice and making it our own, right? And doing the research, studying, right? Being observant of what is happening around you, right? Paying attention to what attracts you to a particular company, paying attention to what attracts you to a particular person that you're willing to give them money, right? Pay attention to those things, because those are the things that you're going to want to implement into your own business model. All right. And I actually have a bonus tip. This is tip number 6. For any of you that are interested in starting and scaling up your business, this is what you need to do. And this actually is the best tip that will encompass all of the other tips that I shared with you and help you with an actual roadmap and a structure that will get you from point A through Z. Okay. Now, this tip is good for those of you who are in corporate or the 9-to-5 grind, who want to make the transition to entrepreneurship, but you're not sure where to start and you don't want to lose your financial security. And this is also a great tip for those of you who are in business full time, have been in business less than 5 years, but you're struggling with scaling because you don't have any real structure in your business. Okay. Now, this solution is the Dare to Leap Academy. All right. And the Dare to Leap Academy is my online e-learning platform where I work with women who want to transition to entrepreneurship, but they just don't know where to start. They don't know how to get all these amazing ideas that are in their head out into the world. And they need guidance, they need strategy, right? They need a plan that they're able to execute against. And this is what we provide inside the Dare to Leap Academy. And the Dare to Leap Academy covers 3 major phases. The first phase is mindset, which is the foundation of everything that you do. If you are not mastering your mindset, you will constantly be in this ongoing hamster wheel process of standing in your own way, imposter syndrome holding you back, fear getting the best of you, you experiencing self-doubt, you thinking you're not worthy, you're not deserving, right? You thinking that you can't do it because you've never done it before. And so it's so important for you to be able to have this mindset thing jam-packed. So that's the first phase. The second phase that we cover is business fundamentals. And let me tell you something, honey, there are so many people who have businesses that are running them as a hobby. They're not real businesses. They are not real businesses. They are hobbies, right? They're getting paid with Cash App. They're getting paid with Zelle. They're getting paid with Venmo. They don't have a bank account. They don't understand business credit. They don't understand business taxes. They don't have a real business plan in place, right? They're literally running this business as a hobby. It's not real. And so during this phase, we provide you with real structure and business fundamentals so that you're building a viable business that is actually sustainable and something that you are able to scale up. Okay. We also cover certifications during this process. So as a woman or a minority-owned business owner, there's certain contracts that you have access to at the corporate and government level that you will learn about inside the academy, which is one of our differentiators, right? One of our differentiators from many of the other competing business programs on the market is that we focus on both helping you build out a B2C model, business to consumer, so you're selling directly to a consumer, and B2B model, so you're selling to other businesses as well. So you're securing 5- and 6-figure corporate and government contracts so that you are able to scale up your business at a faster rate because they're paying bigger money, right? And so we show you how to go after those type of contracts. Another key differentiator factor for the Dare to Leap Academy is not only do we teach you both B2C and B2B models, business models, but we also have the mindset work in there, right? It's literally like a one-stop hub, which brings me to the third phase. The third phase that we focus on is sales and marketing, all right? So after we get your mindset right, after we have your business, we know what you're launching, we know how you're going to make money, we have a business plan. Then we go on to how are you going to sell it, right? How are you going to actually market this thing? How are you going to get in front of people so that they know what it is that you have to buy so they can give you their money to buy it? And that's what we cover in the sales and marketing piece. And it is our one-stop solution for anybody who wants to start and scale up a business. So we cover the mindset, the business fundamentals, the sales and marketing. And in sales and marketing, we cover social media, we cover personal branding, we cover pitch decks, sales scripts, literally everything that falls under how to attract someone to you, how to generate a lead, and how to convert a lead from a lurker or somebody who is just in your community, or maybe somebody that you're meeting at a conference for the first time. How do you actually convert them into a paying client? So that's the Dare to Leap Academy in a nutshell. And so if you are interested in the Dare to Leap Academy and you want to learn more and you are ready to make an investment towards making this dream of launching a business and having time freedom, financial freedom, breaking through generational curses, getting out your own way and having a real structure and plan that you can execute against and work with somebody who has been there, done that. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 7 years now, y'all. Crazy. 7 full-time years, and we in the green, baby, every year. Gotta love that. But if that is you and you are interested in working with me and having a real structure and formula and framework that you can process against, right? Then I welcome you to join me inside the Dare to Leap Academy. And if you want to learn more, for those of you who are on Instagram, I want you to DM me the word magic call. DM me the word magic call. And for those of you here who are on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, I want you to comment the word magic call so that I can get you the link for you to book a magic call with me. Now, on this magic call, this is where we will learn more about you. My team and I will learn more about you, where you are, your situation. You'll learn more about the Dare to Leap Academy and the results that we're getting for clients. And then we're going to see if there's a fit for us to actually work together and make some magic. Okay? So DM me the word magic call. Don't put it in the comments here. DM me the word magic call on Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram, DM me the word magic call. And if you're here on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube watching this, right? Even if you're catching the replay, comment magic call so I can send you the link. All right, guys? All right, everybody's got their instructions? All right. So I know I said that I was going to save some time to answer some questions. So I have some questions here. So let's see. Confidence by Nicole asks, do we need to have 2 separate IG accounts for 2 separate offers? So it depends. Are these offers happening under the same company? Because if they're happening under the same company, then it should just be one page, right? It should just be one page that has one brand for what it is that you are bringing to market. If this is a completely different business with a completely different brand, then you should have separate marketing materials for that. But it shouldn't be having multiple offers that have multiple Instagram pages or multiple brands. Because let me tell you something, guys. A confused buyer is never going to buy. If they are confused about what it is that you are offering, they're not going to buy from you, at least not immediately. And we want immediate returns. We want immediate sales. And so you have to make it really clear for people to understand the problems that you solve and what it is that you do. And at the very least, you want to make sure that you are positioning yourself in such a way where you are attracting people. You're attracting them because they're intrigued, right? They're curious. They want to know more, right? And so they become a part of your community. It now takes, back in the day, it used to take people 7 touch points for them to buy something for you, which means that they need to interact with something from you at least 7 times, whether that's content, whether that's an email, a text message, a live that they're joining, whether that's them coming to a webinar that you're hosting. It used to be 7 times it would take in order for you to get a sale. That number is now, I think, closer to 30, at least 30 touch points before someone actually buys from you. So what that means is you need to make sure that you are constantly driving the same messaging. You are constantly marketing yourself in the same way so that it's not confusing and that it starts to like land, right? It starts to land in people's heads what it is that you do, so that when they are ready to buy or when they are super intrigued by a particular offer you have, it's a no-brainer for them at that point, right? And that requires you showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it. It requires you showing up consistently, right? So that you are staying top of mind. It's why commercials, you'll see the same commercial played multiple times during an hour show. It'll be the same commercial that you see throughout an hour show. That is done purposely. because it needs to be embedded in your subconscious. It needs to be embedded in your mind so that you're thinking of that brand, you're thinking of that product, you're thinking of that service, right? It's why people invest so much in marketing, okay? So we want to make sure that we are clearly articulating our value and what we bring to the table, and we want to make sure that we're not confusing buyers. We're not confusing buyers. They know what exactly it is that they are hiring you for, right? It's very clear. Okay. Any other questions? Let me see. I'm just going through some of the comments here on Instagram. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, it looks like we are all set there. All right, y'all. So remember, here is your directions. If you want to learn more about the Dare to Leap Academy, if you want to work with me, if you're on Instagram, I want you to direct message me the word magic call. Okay, direct message me the word magic call, and I will send you a link for us to get on a phone call. If you are tuning in from Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and you are watching this, comment magic call, and I will reply with the link for you to book your magic call. All right, completely free call. That is for you if you are interested in starting and scaling up your business, in the next 6 months. All right, this is for you. Next 6 months, you want to start and launch your business? Let's go. I got you. The Dare to Leap Academy is here for you. All right. So thank you so much for joining. I hope this was helpful. If you're watching the replay, please let me know in the comments if you thought this was valuable. If so, let me know what else you guys want me to talk about so I can make sure that I am constantly providing value and giving you as much information as possible for you to approach things with as much confidence and clarity that you need to execute. All right, y'all. Talk to you next time.